We are Stonehill, and we exist to love all people and help them find and follow Jesus. In 2012, I helped start a church called Rock Harbor, and God has blessed Rock Harbor in amazing ways. But in 2016, God laid on the hearts of the leadership, including me, to start a new church in South Meridian. So as a united group of leaders, we knew God was calling us to plant a church here in the valley, and we were all in agreement that I was going to be the one to lead the charge. Now this was exciting, but also at the same time, it was hard because I loved Rock Harbor so much. I remember the feelings that we had when this decision was made to start a church. I remember for me personally, like feelings of excitement and passion. At the same time, I remember having some fear and uncertainty, thinking like, what in the world are we doing? Like, God, what are you doing? But then I also know that God gave us an undeniable certainty that this was what we were supposed to do, and everything began to fall into place.
One specific event that I can think about is Doug and I went on a missions trip to Guatemala, and why my heart absolutely broke for the people of Guatemala. My heart really broke for my neighbors. All I could think about while we were on that trip is the kids and families at the school in our neighborhood that I taught at, my kids' friends and their families and my neighbors, and my heart just broke for all of them to know Jesus. And I remember flying late at night back into the Treasure Valley and looking down and seeing the freeway and just looking and praying over South Meridian and just thinking, that's my mission field. That's where we're gonna plant a church. That is where we're gonna be a light and where people will come to know Jesus.
So what were we going to call this new church? We began to assemble some names together from all different people. But one day my son said, Dad, why don't we call it Stonehill Church? He said, Stone stands for the fact that Jesus is the cornerstone and we are built around him. And Hill stands for the fact that we're supposed to be a city on the hill shining the light of Christ. So after prayer and consideration, we chose the name Stonehill Church, not knowing that one day we would also be known as Stoners. God also had assembled an amazing team of leaders to help lead this new church. The summer before, we had different events to help us prepare for the beginning of Stonehill.
We wanted to become part of Stonehill from the very beginning when we heard about this potential, or it was going to be the launch of Stonehill out of Rock Harbor. And we both came home and independently thought to ourselves, we think we want to be part of this. And then we sort of said it to each other and we were like, well, we're feeling the same way. I guess we're gonna go.
We're excited to be part of a team that would show this side of the freeway what a warm, loving, friendly, come as you are and meet Jesus church could be. So the question is, how did we decide? It was just a no-brainer for us, I think. We were there.
Then on August 28th, 2016, we had our first service. We had over 537 people show up for this service. Holy cow, God was on the move. We did so well the first week that we grew our church all the way back to 323 people the next week.
The first day that we were actually open, oh my gosh, it was controlled chaos. We had no idea we were going to have over 500. And so it was a little bit like being at the county fair. I mean, it was just stay out of the way. People were coming in, we filled all the seats, we filled the bleachers back behind. It was amazing. And you just look around and it reconfirmed. Need is there, the demand is there. People want to hear about Christ.
God has blessed our church in so many ways. Every week we see hundreds of people serve both inside our church and outside in our community. You have served our community by doing things like trunk or treat, dairy days, and the Meridian Block Party, Giving Tree, camp sponsorships, Operation Christmas Child, and our illumination projects with our community groups. We have also seen 499 people give their life to Jesus and 472 people take their next steps in publicly professing Jesus through baptism in the last 5 years. Guys, this is so amazing. In the past 5 years, you've also been faithful in your financial giving. Not only have you given money to help meet our operational budget each year to serve and minister to our church and community, but you've also given over $1.1 million towards a new building. On top of that, we were also given over 7 acres of land on Amity Road between Meridian and Linder Road to build our future building.
I was actually there that morning when we got the phone call. The phone rang and she picked it up and she said something. I heard her talking and she just said, "Oh, you want to talk to somebody about land?" And she goes, "Oh, okay." And I remember she told DJ to come over and she handed the phone to him and I overheard his conversation. And literally he got down kind of to the point to where he goes, "Well, how much do you want for it?" And I remember looking at him and I'm waiting for the number to come out of his mouth and he says, "Nothing." And I remember at that point in time, I was like another one of those deals where it's just like how God is just so richly blessed Stonehill. And
seeing how many people God has brought, whether it's to our staff or teams of volunteers, to being involved in women's ministry, just seeing people, and for myself, getting to know people and connecting, and just realizing the church at times can feel big and yet it can be so small and personal too.
We believe God is not done yet. He's just getting started. And so we celebrate, but we feel like God still has so much for us to do.
What I see as exciting is what God has prepared us to do in the next 5 years. With our mission statement and our vision statement that we have, and just a collective thought of agreement between our leadership and our staff and our church to reach people for the gospel.
Just to see that growth and that we really do reflect the community and that we're plugged into the community in such a fashion that if for whatever reason Stonehill didn't exist, the community would go, where the heck did they go? They were pretty cool and they helped. So I'm excited to be more plugged in and to just reflect the community that we live in.
So what is next? Well, we've prayed about it and we believe that God has given us clarity on what to do moving forward. So here it is. Over the next 5 years, we believe God will use Stonehill Church to help bring life-changing spiritual transformation into our community by helping thousands of people find and follow Jesus. Therefore, we will continue to be a church for the Valley by sharing the gospel, living out our faith, and intentionally serving our community through local outreach. We will expand our kingdom impact by securing a permanent location for our current congregation by 2024 and multiply our ministry with 2 additional campuses by 2026. For those of you who have partnered with us, thank you so much. If you're not, would you consider partnering with us? We celebrate all that God has done the last 5 years and can only imagine what God is going to do the next 5 years. So hold on, because the best is yet to come.